sorry. Yes, ma'am. My favorite type of music. You know what's interesting? I mean, I love vocal music, of course. Some of my favorite artists growing up that were big influences on me were people that wrote their own songs. I like those the best. So the Barry Manilow's and the Elton Johns and the Billy Joels and those songwriters, you know, I mean, that's what I like. People that played the piano and wrote their own stuff. But you know what? When I was a little kid, when I was Shameen's age, you know what I collected? I have a whole collection at my mom's house in Maryland, movie soundtracks. I loved orchestral movie soundtracks. I can still see the album covers of Superman the movie. Yeah. Do you know how cool it is that I'm hanging out over here hugging on Margot Kidder? I mean, when I was a kid, I was in love with her, you know what I mean? It's the craziest thing to be friends with these people, you know? Capricorn 1, do you guys remember that movie? Great musical score. King Kong, back in the 70s, Star Wars, of course. I had all of those, Close Encounters. I had a whole collection of LPs of movie soundtracks. For those of you, that's long play, that's it, for long play, as opposed to the 45s. I know, 33 1/3 was the speed. But I know a lot of you are like, what? What is that? We make coasters out of those now. Question. Who has not asked a question? Because we don't have much time left, so I want to make sure and get everybody. Yes. Christina. Boom! Do I share any similarities with the characters I play? Hey, what are you laughing about? You know what? Not usually in big ways, but I think if an actor is able to find things about a character that they really like, or maybe something that resonates with them, they'll make a better performance. I think that's one of the reasons that you guys might like certain shows better than other shows. You know, there's something about the actor's performance that really feels like they were invested into this show. They were really letting loose and pulling out all the stops, you know what I mean? Whereas others, you can just tell they're kind of just reading. It's kind of a flat performance, you know? So I think a good actor tries to find something about every character that they play that they really love. For me, like let's say Ed, for instance. Obviously, I don't have a ton in common with Ed. We're not the same age. I don't have any brothers or sisters. I certainly don't have a metal arm or leg. I'm not terribly short. Well, compared to some. But you know what I do have in common with Ed? Is that my dad was a jerk and he took off when I was young. No, Oz, this is awesome. Because I have life experience from that. You see how it worked out? So when Ed was talking about, you know, what a jerk his dad is, that he took off and they couldn't even reach him when Mom died, you know, I'm like, yeah. Man, Dad better not show up and I'll punch his fat, ugly face, right? And sure enough, when Dad shows up, boom! And there's that whole, you know, that bitterness and anger about him leaving the family. And so, hey, ho, papa, here he is, Dad! I didn't mean anything I just said, okay? But, you know what I mean? So there, even though there were all of those other things that I didn't have in common with Ed, there was that one thing. And you try to find things in every character you play that you like. Even if it's a bad guy. You try to find some quality in him that endears you to him, or that you have in common with him. Question. Yes. My favorite Ed short rant? You know what, to be honest, remember what I said about not keeping them in here for long, because you kind of do them and then you flush them out. Well, what is your favorite? I already did the one. You're not going to make me yell again, are you? What? You weren't here? Well, you know, I tell you one of my favorites. One of my favorites is the one about I'll break down your feet and stick them on your head. I do like that one a lot. No, I'm just telling you about it. Yes, ma'am. My Italian name? Well, my actual full name is Vittorio Giuseppe Mignogna. I know. You're like, there's not enough videotape to get all that.
I gotta change tapes.
But then, you know, in English it would be Victor Joseph Mignogna. And when I got to be about, I don't know, when I went away to high school, in 9th grade, I told people to call me Vic. Because Victor sounds like, you know, the big fat bully who beats you up for your lunch money. You know? Victor, you know, I hate that. My mother, when she gets mad, you know, Victor? Victor Joseph! So I started asking people to call me Vic. But yes, that's my Italian name. And you've asked a question, Envy. Who's not asked one? You did. You didn't? Okay, what is it? Tamaki. What a spaz. He's such a spaz. She asked me to say this for her, so I'll just go with this. Call me King. He's so funny. Who's got, yes? Yes? Oh, you're good. She said talking about having things in common with characters. Oh! She mentioned this character that I just did in Code Geass called Luciano.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Last week.
What?
Last week. She was making fun of the part where you died.
You were making fun of me dying? A pox on you. No, no
Not
pox.
you, I love you. The character's a jerk. Sorry.
You know my favorite thing about him was? What do people value most? Their lives, of course. I liked him. He was pompous. And I love his kind of his flair for the artistic. But he was a bad guy. We like bad guys. Bad guys are fun to play. You know why? Because they're more interesting. They're more complicated. They're more complex. Because especially if a bad guy is written well, he's usually not just all bad. He's bad, but he's bad for a reason. And there's a story where he once was good, and then he turned bad because of what happened in his life. Those are the most interesting things, you know? Question? Yes. Jason. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Of all the songs that I've written, which one is most dear to me? Oh gosh. I could never pick one. So many songs that I have written have been born out of great joy, great love, great heartache, great loneliness, great fear, great hope, great optimism, great despair. And all are equally powerful at the time. How many of you write? How many of you write or draw? I mean, it'd be hard to pick just, this is the best thing, this is my favorite thing I wrote, or this is my one favorite thing that I've drawn. Because you have an emotional attachment to each of them for a different reason. They represent a moment in your life when you were feeling something so profound and so powerful that you had to express it in some way. So I don't know that I could ever pick just one song that holds the most impact for me. So many of them do. So many of them do. Yes?